Victor. I'm here with a new unboxing, and today I'm going to unbox the Grymwatch from the Warhammer Underworlds. To be fair, I already unboxed it, so we have here the miniatures and the cards. So we are going to make a look to the miniatures later on. It's a warband. This warband is made of 7 miniatures, so it's like the old undead. But yeah, we can make first a look to the cards, see how this warband plays, and then we can make a look to the miniatures. Let me zoom in a little bit more on the cards now. Okay, here we have. These are the cards. Let's put it right, and we start with the different characters. Okay, so this is the leader of the warband. You will see that they all have quite have movement 4, 5, and when they get inspired, normally they have, for example, in this case, has more movement, better defense, and have a little bit more damage. Okay, so this is the leader. The mechanics to get inspired is there are fewer than 2 enemy fighters in your territory at the end of the action phase. So it means at the end of turn 1, if your enemy did not move or just move 1 miniature into your territory, they get inspired. So you see they also have 1 miniature these bats, and again when it gets inspired, +1 movement, +1 defense. So you will see that this is going to be quite a fast war when it's inspired. He's moving 4, when it's inspired is more efficient, and is moving 5, but this one is not winning defense. Okay, we have this was great sword. What is the one that have the big bone? Okay, and then we have 1, 2, 3 creep ghouls that are as well hunters. Okay, all of them are very similar, just 2 wounds. They have more or less the same abilities. I think they are exactly the same. Yes, and when they get inspired, they just win movement 5, and they improve the ability to attack. And these ones on top have Enser. Okay. Okay, you see, this is winning. This is really the one that is the most boosted one. Okay. Here we go. And then we have the lady, or looks like a lady, or one with the long hair. This is just a hand. It's Balric, the tracker, or is I don't know. The one with the long hair, I don't know if it's a lady, or I think it's a lady, but okay. So that also movement 4 goes to movement 5, it's winning and dodge, and it's also has damage too, so it's better than the other ghouls. Okay, so this is the warband. Easy to kill, but at the same time quite fast, and there is a lot of them, right? So you have to be careful because you can give a lot of glory points. The action he has is this. He has 2 special abilities. The first one is place a scatter token in any X and roll. So this is the ghoul call. Okay, is an action. So you place a scatter token in any X and roll 1 attack dice to determine the direction. Place a friendly creep ghoul that is out of action in the empty. Okay, and he can do this at the beginning of the action phase for free. If we look the cards, we can see that it's quite a new variety of cards dedicated to them. Some are about movement. There is a lot about synchronizing attacks. So there is some abilities to synchronize attacks, to move other guys together. So there is a lot of movement things. Okay, and as well you have the typical to boost some of your attacks and so on. We see that we have some plots that you only can use it if you have the Quack Marrow. Okay, and this one is only can be used only by the this is an ability. Sorry, so only this one. So this one you only can use it if you have your leader on the table. Okay, who is the Quack Marrow. The thing is, the first time we see really a plot that you need a special or a specific character on the table. Then we have some upgrades. Some, as usual, have names. So, for example, this is for the leader. Is to will give the same ability we used to have on the skeletons, but not on the ghouls. So the leader can move other two guys. We have also the down to weakness. That is only for the Duke's Harris. Okay, for the bats. And then we have some other generic ones. Some are interesting. For example, +1 dice fighters, so improve the attack. Then there is this one that is considered. So this one is quite interesting. I think this one. Each enemy is a quarry +1 dice to attack action. No, it was not this one, but there is one that is. This one is to deal 2 damage. This is as well. You can see we have some restrictors, right? So there's some weapons. So this increases the weapon to strength 2. This is the one I was telling. Is for your leader, and when an attack action takes an adjacent enemy out of action, gain 1 additional glory point. Very similar to the trophies on the core, right? So there are some for attack. There are some for most of these upgrades are more to give attacks, and also there are some to improve the movement of the warband. And then we have a plethora of objectives only for them. Remember that we now we have for the immediate, it's called Surge. Then we have the hybrid that you can do 2 of so it is if or, right? So this one, for example, is this is quite interesting because it's like a denial and a conquest in one card. So if you do denial or you do conquest, you are scoring this objective. So quite interesting. Conquering heroes score this and end phase if your warband holds 1 or more objective in enemy territory. So there you will see that there are some about holding objectives. There is also a lot about going to the enemy territory, and there is a lot about killing. There is another one about killing guys in your territory. So score this immediately when an enemy fighters take out action in your territory. So you see, so I would say it's a warband that will be a mix of control and attack, and it will benefit you if you can attack in group. So this is search. Score this immediately after an activation if 3 or more friendly fighters are adjacent to the same fighter. You see, to attack together or to be next to an enemy. Score this end of the phase if 3 or more surviving friendly fighters are inspired. This is quite. I think this is quite interesting. There are some interesting. I think it's going to be quite interesting warband to play. Score this immediately after an activation if your warband holds 3 or more objectives. Okay, but there is less than how it was called this. Oh, I forgot the name, but they wanted to hold 3 objectives that give 3 glory points. But this is immediate, so you don't need to wait to the end of the turn, right? Incomprehensible scheme. Score this in the end of the phase if your warband holds more objectives than the enemy warband. 1 point. This can be quite easy, can be very tough depending the warband. So that, but you can see there is a lot of control here. Score this end of phase if you have scored 5 or more surge. So it's really mouths to feed. Score this end of phase if there are fewer surviving enemy fighters than there are enemy fighters out of action. So there are more kills than survive. Score this immediately when you play your 3rd or subsequent gambit card in a single round. And score this immediately after an activation if your warband holds the objective with the sword. You see that this control, so you have to hold the objective with the same number of turns. On turn 1, objective 1, in round 2, objective 2, in round 3, objective 3. Okay, so these are the specific of the warband, and then of course, as any supplement of Warhammer Underworlds, we have then the generic ones. Okay. We have all our new generic. I don't think I have any of them were there before. Okay, I will not go through them. We have also some spells that we cannot use. This warband does not have any sorcerer, for example, and then we have these new ones. We can look at this. Pick one objective token and move it into an adjacent X up to 2 times. You cannot move it into a lethal X, so this is just to move objectives. The first attack action made by a friendly fighter in the next activation has +1 dice and is snare if the target has no move or charge tokens. Okay, quite curious this one. Then we have the new type of weapons are going to be the Amberborn weapons. Okay, so here we have the Amberborn axe. So what these weapons does is they have 2 profiles. One with range 3 with 1 damage and one with range 1 with 2 damage. After this fighter makes an attack action, discard. So it's a 1-use axe, and if the attack action takes an enemy fighter out of action, discard and gain 1 glory point. Okay, so it's quite curious. I think this is only if you are in range 1. So you can throw it for 1 damage, or you can use it in close combat again. So it's quite curious. This was a healing weapon that you discard, so there are a lot of discarding weapons. The Hunter Reflexes, this fighter is a hunter, so because it's a great reaction, use this after enemy fighter's activation. If that fighter is a quarry, push this fighter 1x closer to that enemy fighter. You can see there is then we have the Larval Lance. Okay, we have the amazing, so I will not go through all of them, but you can see that there is some different upgrades. Okay, and then we have new type of objectives. So for example, this one is called this end of phase if all objectives are held. So it means that does not need to be held by you, can be held by the opponent, part of them. This I find it quite interesting as well. This is a dual, so it means that you have to do the same. So it's like supremacy. No, it comes to me. It's like supremacy, but you have to hold it also at the beginning of the turn. So score this end of phase if your warband holds 3 or more objectives, okay, and your warband held 3 or more objectives at the start of the round, right? So you have to finish. For example, this cannot be scored in round 1. Can only be scored in round 2 or 3. So you start round 1, at the end of the round 1 you are holding the 3 objectives, and then on round 2 you can hold these 4 points. Okay, this is really for a super control deck. This can be interesting as well for this warband if you want to play a lot of control and not on the aggressive part. This is a lot of commitment to score, to be fair. We have this Surge, for example, here. Score this immediately after a friendly fighter successful attack action that targets a fighter with defense characteristic 2 or more. Okay, this is quite situational, some of them. We have here another dual, so this is becoming quite popular in this. Score this end of phase if 1 or more enemy fighters were taken out of action in the previous phase and your warband holds 2 or more objectives. This can be interesting for this one, right? Because you have enough people to do all these things. Okay, all the dual are being quite complicated, so you will see that we have here. We have a Surge and dual, for example. Okay, score this immediately after an activation if your warband holds 1 or more objective in friendly territory and your warband holds 1 or more objective in enemy territory 1 point and is an immediate. So this is very interesting one. I think it's a very good card. Surge, score this immediately after a friendly hunter attack action that takes an enemy leader or a quarry out of action. Okay, this is to play with synergy with other cards. Okay, Great Hand, let's see, this is a hybrid one. So hybrid means that you have to score one of the 2 options. Score this end of phase if 1 or more friendly hunters each have 3 or more grades, or 3 or more friendly hunters have 1 or more grade. So you have to have 1 with 3 or 3 with 1. Okay, so difficult to score at the turn 1, for example. So it's more for some of these cards, some of these objectives we have to be careful, right? Because it looks like you can score it in any turn. But in turn 1, this one is going to be difficult. This is more thing for round 2 or 3 normally. Okay, and then we have this to the end. Score this end phase if there are no cards left on the power deck. 2 points, so it's quite good, this one. But this, if there are no cards left on the power deck, right? This is the power deck, so means that you have to empty the 20 cards, right? And it's not easy. It's not easy. Okay, if it's 2 points, maybe it's too much commitment. Most likely this one can only be scored in turn 3. So yeah, you have to be careful because some of these are phase 3, or it's called phase round. Yeah, it's round 3, although it's not said here, right? Because it's very difficult that in round 2 you are going to be empty of power cards. Then you don't have tools anymore for round 3. So some of these cards can be round 3 and you don't know. Okay, and here we have the miniatures. Let's make a look. So this is the bats. Let me see if you can see better. Okay. Okay, sorry if the tail is not that. If the I think we have to. Okay. So these are the bats. This is a 1-piece miniature. Okay, 2 pieces if we count the base. Okay, all of course, like all the Underworlds have texturized bases. These are texturized like if it's mud, skeletons and stones. So here we see this is and then we have this the leader, who also goes in a big base. Very nice, interesting pose, very imposing one. Okay, he's wearing a beard. Have these 2 horns here on the front. I think this can be miniatures that you can paint quite fast. I need to look because there is some. This one have this gap here that I don't like too much, so I will need maybe to put some putty or look how to improve that. I'm a little bit okay. Then we have the great sword, that is this guy with a super big bone. Okay, remember these are crazy people that they think that they are knights, that they are like paladins. Okay, so this is why the names. Then we have this one, okay, who is the, let's call this the one, I forgot the name now, is the tracker. Okay, so it's called Balric the Tracker, okay, with this long hair. I find very interesting to have a ghoul with long hair. I think it's quite giving quite a different look, carrying a lot of skulls at the back. And then we have the 3 ghouls, okay, and the 3 ghouls. I think this is the strongest one, the one with the, if I'm not wrong, the one with the one with the hooks is the strongest one. The strongest one in the way that he has a snare, and also have is the butcher is the butcher, and also have the more precision to hit. Okay, but all the ghouls are quite easy to kill just with 2 wounds. Okay, so these are all the Warhammer, and this is what I wanted to share you here. So this is the look to the Grymwatch from Bisgrave. So keep tuning this channel. I will do in the short. Will try to do some tutorials on how to paint them. Still thinking, but it's the best way to paint them. But I like a lot the illustration here, how they look like with this greenish skin, looking quite putrid, and then adding the blood effects. I think that this can be very, very nice and interesting. So maybe it can be a project for Halloween once I'm back from my trip to the US. So that's all for this video. I hope you have enjoyed. Please let me know in the comments below what do you think about this warband, if you are interested in Warhammer Underworlds or not. And yeah, as usual, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.